Hello students, I am going to tell summary of Nelson Mandela. Long Walk to Freedom. It is an extract from the autobiography of Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela that describes the struggle for freedom of black people in South Africa. On the 10th of May 1994, Nelson Mandela took the oath as South Africa's first black president after more than 3 centuries of white rule. His party had won 252 out of the 400 seats in the first democratic elections in the history of South Africa. Many dignitaries and political figures from several countries attended the inauguration ceremony that took place in the Union Buildings Amphitheatre in Pretoria. In his speech, Mandela addressed all dignitaries respectfully and assured his fellow countrymen that his country would never experience similar suppression by one group over another. While taking his vow as the first black president, he established democracy in the country and said there would be no discrimination against people, irrespective of caste, color, creed, or race. He assured that the government would always treat all the people of the country with due respect and equality. The lovely day of inauguration was symbolic for Mandela as the South African people sang two national anthems, the Vision of Whites sang, Inkosi Sikalel iAfrika, and the Blacks sang, Die Stem, the old anthem of the Republic. All these events reminded Mandela of how black-skinned people were exploited by white people earlier. He deeply felt the pain of his race and said that this type of suppression, crushing and racial domination of the white-skinned people against the dark-skinned people on their own land gave rise to one of the harshest and most inhumane societies the world had ever seen or known. He strongly believed that no person is born to hate the other person on the basis of skin color, background, or religion. However, people must learn to hate because if they learn to hate, they can be taught to love as well, as love comes more naturally to humans than hate. He also mentioned how a person becomes brave, not because he does not feel afraid, but because he knows how to conquer his fears. Furthermore, Mandela stated that every man in life has two major obligations. The first one is his obligation towards his family, which includes his parents, wife, and children, and the second is towards his motherland, countrymen, and his community. Everyone is able to fulfill those obligations according to his own interests and inclinations. However, it was difficult to fulfill both these obligations as a black man in a country like South Africa before the democratic wave took over the nation by storm. When Mandela became an adult, he realized that freedom was merely an illusion and temporary in nature for the black-skinned people of his country. He felt that they were treated as slaves of exploitation, and all the people of his race were treated unfairly by the white-skinned people. According to Mandela, freedom was indivisible for all. But the people of his color and race were bound in chains of oppression, coercion, and tyranny, monocracy. He knew that the oppressor must be liberated just like the oppressed because a person who snatches another's freedom is also a prisoner of similar oppression. Thus, the oppressor is not free to and feels shackled in. Conclusion of Nelson Mandela. In the chapter, Nelson Mandela, Long Walk to Freedom, we learned that brave men are not those who never feel afraid but the ones who know how to conquer fear. Mandela strongly felt that every individual has certain duties and responsibilities towards his own country and community. Hope this summary helped you to understand the chapter briefly but need to read the chapter through NCERT too.